Welcome back, Paul, Catalina, and Garrett Ross. Arizona State and BYU, Garrett. Let's get into
Phenomenal
it.
game.
Phenomenal game. BYU does what they do, and they fell down, but they got back up and almost like, heck, the Hail Mary got caught.
Yeah.
Chase Roberts caught it. Right down there at the 3-yard line, 2-3-yard line. Arizona State did not lose. That would have been
horrible.
It would have been worse than Guy Morris.
Ooh. You talking about the
At
LSU
Kentucky,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
Brian
Yeah.
Randall, right?
Yeah.
Brian Randall?
Yeah.
Was it Brian Randall?
I don't remember if it was Brian
Randall.
I'd have to look at that.
Yeah, I think the quarterback's last name was Randall. I can't remember his first name because there's a Randall that also played at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Bryce Randall that was at Virginia Tech. I can't remember. But that one, that's the most embarrassing one because he was getting a Gatorade dumped on him in the moment that LSU was racing in the end zone for the dub.
Good time.
But look, Arizona State, there was no way to know that the game was still going to be going on. Now, also, Kenny Dillingham.
The clock management
was
suspect as hell.
Suspect. I get, but here's the thing. Here's what he was trying to avoid.
I know what he was trying to, yeah.
He was trying to avoid being Baylor versus UNLV.
Yep.
He probably should have just scored. And then
he should have.
But it's such a tricky situation. If you can run it out, you can run it out. And so it almost worked, right? It almost worked. But the bad idea with it was I would rather, if you're going to maybe perchance give him the ball back with 1 second left, I'd rather give him the ball back with 5 seconds left and it just be at the 10-yard line.
Either that or in that, I know it's still a risk, but pooch it. Have Sam Levitt pooch kick it and then go from there. Because that was the concern too, is he going to get it and actually punt it away? You even had that delay game there.
I wouldn't have had anybody pooch anything. I would have put they're at the 49-yard line.
Just boot it.
I would have had the punter go and here's your thing. I want you to kick this as high and far as you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because that's the same thing. You're just throwing that at least then they're going to get the ball at the 20.
Right.
So there's where I Kenny Dillingham and I diverge in the wood as far as that strategy goes. Because I get what he was trying to do, but they lost way too many yards on
they did.
Running back around. So there were better ways to do it. But when the ball, lands out of bounds and the official said the game is over, right? Didn't he say that? I'm not imagining that.
I don't remember if they said the game was over. I just know the clock went down. Everything looked like it was over.
So then, they buzzed down, but there needed to be some preparation for that.
Don't buzz down in that situation.
Or and look, even if they were right, I'm not saying don't buzz down, but if you know that there's a chance that this could happen, you need to spend a lot, the PA announcers, no one, the officials, nobody took into account, hey, when Arizona State wins this game and puts themselves in position to win a conference title, potentially something they have not done in a very long time, and all they got to do is beat their rival, who is not very good.
Not very good at all.
Next week, they're going to be fired up. This is a huge win for them. These kids are coming. These kids are coming. And then you got to spend 20 minutes, basically putting them all on the sideline.
Yep. You
could run in one play. Yeah. It's not I totally understand Kenny Dillingham ripping the officials.
Yeah.
I totally understand him doing it. Not because maybe they did get the call right. They never really even showed.
Well, it looked like the ball did go out of bounds with.
Yeah, but
at the same time,
it's not where the ball goes out of bounds. It's where it hits the ground.
Well, it hit in the damn bleachers. Yeah.
Yeah. So did it hit in the bleachers with 1 second left? We never saw. And now if they want, they didn't call intentional grounding, so they can't go back and call it. Right? You can't go back and call intentional grounding?
I don't think you can.
Maybe you can review. Maybe it can be reviewed whether they were in the tackle box or not. I don't know. But they didn't call intentional grounding. They didn't call that.
No, it was just.
So either way, however the rule does, and I'm getting confused because this whole situation was confusing. But if you remember when Colt McCoy did it and Nebraska lost to Texas in the Big 12 title game. That's a weird thing to say now.
Yeah.
But
Very weird.
Colt McCoy threw the ball out of bounds, and the clock stopped because it landed on the sideline with 1 second left.
Mm-hmm.
So there's to me, there's no way that landed in the, Sam Levitt threw as far as he could. It landed in the stands. Like, how could they tell where it was? I don't know. They said there was 1 second left, so there's 1 second left. But I think that was
I would have just let it go, honestly. And I know that BYU technically would have had the opportunity and everything, but to me,
how is it how was that conclusive compared to all the other things that aren't to flip the call?
That's a good.
That was my question, because they didn't
had
really
throw in the call on the field.
They didn't really show it on TV.
No.
There's basically they had the angle of there's the ball going out of bounds, but they never really, because you know what? There's no cameras in the place it hit. So nobody was. So yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe somebody in the chat can explain it to me. So Paxton said, I tried to get my picks in at 10:30 Saturday morning. It was already locked, so I lost every game.
I did mine and probably lost almost all of them, Paxton. So
I went 8-2.
I didn't even want to look because I knew how bad.
I'm 1 game ahead of Craig. So.
I've gotten emotional the past couple of weeks. LSU just screwed my head up, so I'm just picking stupid stuff now.
Yeah, the games I lost were Wazoo. Most people lost Wazoo, by the way. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you. Hold on. I will tell you. We need to count them out. But anyway, we're done with the Arizona State topic. We'll talk about Washington, Dallas here in a second, because it was so weird. So I missed Colorado, and I missed Wazoo. So hold on, let's see. Our winner, David Matthews, who's been very good at this thing.
He's been consistent.
He only missed Wazoo. He picked Kansas very wisely. Hold on. Okay, 1. Kyle Visser, congratulations. You picked the Beavs. 1 person.
Damn.
On this whole list picked the Beavs. 97% of people picked Wazoo.
I don't think that's a real shocker. I mean,
no, but
Oregon State's kind of been lost in the mix. You kind of forget about them.
Yeah. 79 Ohio State, 79 ASU, 76 Colorado, 88 Penn State, 59% Louisville, which that game was a little bit better, 91% Baylor. Let's see. 97%. Only 3 people picked Houston, only 1 person. 5 people picked Army, 5 people picked Vandy, 8 people picked Duke, 7 BYU, and 7 Indiana. The rest were all double digits. So
I was one of the ones that picked Vandy.
Yeah, you've let your emotions get the better
I
of
have.
you. So, but yeah, so it's Garrett, you were 1, 2, 3,
Probably
4,
awful.
and 6.
Balling. Yeah.
4 and
Good
6.
times.
So, yeah. Do your picks before then, people.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. But yeah, Craig and I were both 8-2. We both had the exact same picks. This week, Smokey. I'm still scrolling. Smokey was 7-3 because he picked Pitt.
Okay. And Holstein got hurt, didn't he? He was game time decision, comes in, and then he gets hurt. It's yeah.
I mean, I
Bad
wasn't
business for him.
I wasn't. I was going to pick Louisville anyway. I just think they're a better team, top to bottom. But yeah. So, but yeah. David Matthews wins on the tiebreaker. Brian Burt and Chad Gullidge were both 9-1, but lost on the tiebreaker. So. Chad had way too many points scored in the Baylor-Houston game. He had 65.
Damn, he's want to see Sly Robertson cook.
Yeah. So, and anyway, but But yeah, David Matthews, 59 for Ohio State. I think that's almost pretty much right on. It was 40, yeah. So, yeah, it was pretty close on that one. So, all right, let's Flight 90 says, should have listened to me about Colorado Circus. I told you, Paul. Yeah. I just thought that Kansas was going to come back down to earth, but
they're like on a mission right now to ruin everybody's season.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to pick them this week. I've been thinking about that. I think I'm going to take them this week against Baylor. There's something about Jalen Daniels, man, like it's vintage Jalen Daniels.
Well, and look, Devin, it wasn't even like Jalen didn't have to do much because Devin Neal was
it was a problem.
Jeez. They had no answer for him.
No.
And yeah, that was wild. Okay, so I want to spend the last few minutes before we get to Peyton here talking about the end of the Washington-Dallas game. The first 3 quarters were as big of a donkey turd of a game as I think I've ever watched.
Stupid, yeah.
It was 10-9.
Yeah.
It was awful. Awful. Yeah. But the fact that it was 10-9 was stupid because Brandon Aubrey missed a field goal. He got a field goal blocked, and the Cowboys got a punt block.
Yeah.
And then Washington responded by missing field goals and extra points. 2 extra points and a field goal, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end of that game, the Cowboys get the lead. Like Smokey told me, he's like, this is how they play against the Cowboys. The Cowboys just kind of own it, always is. And then I was like, yeah, well, you're right. When you're right, you're right. Literally, when I text that to him, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, 86 yards. And again, I've seen the Cowboys do that exact thing before, too. If you remember Tyreek Hill, like not a Hail Mary, just a pass and then just get run past.
Yep.
I saw that happen. That's the second time that's happened to them. Terry McLaurin just went 87 yards or whatever it was to the house on that. And then they come out. They should have gone for 2 and just ended it because the Cowboys were on the mat.
Yep.
And then you have the long snapper short hops it. That was all kind of bad.
It was
all kind of bad. And they lose. And then, look, Daniels got to throw one more pass than that.
Yeah. So close.
Yeah.
Brian Robertson gets hurt. It was so frustrating, dude. Like, that was one where Washington has been cooking all year. You thought that the luck was going to come back with the McLaurin, that hiccup, and then all of a sudden, man, Dallas just found a way. This is the most frustrating thing in the world. You kind of like, I was so nervous that would happen. Like I thought Dan Quinn would just have a way to kind of work this offense. Mm-hmm. I didn't really think that Cooper Rush could do anything, and then of course Dallas would find a way to go up there and spoil everything. It's so annoying losing to them.
Here's the thing. I'm mad that the Cowboys won it.
You should be.
Because
for pick-wise, draft-wise.
Look, they don't need a quarterback.
No.
They've got Dak. Well, I mean, we can have that debate.
He's better than most quarterbacks in the league.
Yes. He's good enough to where they've got him locked into this contract. They're not drafting a quarterback in the first round. So if you have a top 5 pick, which right now they're like 11th, which they can maybe still at 11 get Ashton Genty, but the better he plays, the more scared I get that's not going to happen. They need to be in that I'm desperate for Shadur Sanders, Cam Ward area, and I'm going to trade up and make a bad decision with my picks so that they can trade back, still draft Ashton Genty, and then load up with picks for this year and next year.
Right.
And move on. They need to be 1, 2, or 3. Need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they haul off and go and beat Washington. And they're probably going to go and
They're going to beat the Giants.
They're going to beat the sorry-ass Giants. And then here they're going to be picking. Look, here's the thing about the Cowboys. They don't have the goddamn decency to be shitty enough or awesome enough. So either be Super Bowl champions or be nothing, but stop being in between.
That's all they know, Paul.
That's all they know.
That's all they know.
just be the right amount of shitty or the right amount of awesome. They're neither.
Never.
It's maddening. Even when it looks like they're going to be crappy, they're crappy, but they're not as crappy as the crappiest crappy when they need to be the crappiest crappy.
Yep.
And then when they're good, they look good, but they're not as good as the really, really good. I'm going to have an aneurysm.
You might.
This is insane.
And this is after a win.
Yeah.